In the year 2000, Michael Madison, a former student at East High School, filed a landmark racial discrimination lawsuit that was supported by the Attorney General of the United States against the Sullivan County Board of Education. 5 other minority Sullivan County students joined Michael in the lawsuit. The students described a pattern of pervasive racial discrimination in Sullivan County schools that they felt went unchallenged by the school leaders. Plaintiff Michael Madison claimed that throughout the school years of 1995 through 1998, he was repeatedly subjected to harassment because of his race. Michael claimed that teachers and administrators were aware of this harassment, but failed to try to stop it. This harassment culminated in a racially motivated assault on October 1, 1997. Michael did not return to the school after the assault. In his lawsuit, Michael contended that his mental and emotional health suffered, that he was deprived of an education, and that the district violated his civil rights.
This began with a phone call from the principal at East High School saying that an African-American student had been choked by a few white students.
In 2003, a consent decree was issued by the Justice Department, and the school district was forced to confront racial harassment in their schools. Sullivan County adopted a comprehensive plan to address discrimination in all schools and committed itself to safeguard the rights of all students to learn in an environment free from discrimination based on race, color, or national origin.
It was maybe 2 years later that I heard, when I was in Johnson City at a meeting on the radio, that we were being sued. At first, I guess I felt like I was in a more defensive mode. Being sued for quite a bit of money. But then we really changed our attitude from one of being defensive to one of putting ourselves in that student's place. Because at that time, there were over 1,000 students at Sullivan East High School. 2 were African American. And I thought of myself as being one of 2 Caucasians in an all African American high school. And how would I feel, especially if someone had attempted to choke me. So we decided to not become defensive, but to try to be proactive in doing what was right for children.
In adopting this comprehensive plan, educational leaders in Sullivan County recognized that changing attitudes, perceptions, and behavior would require systemic change. No single strategy, workshop, or activity would successfully undo decades of prejudice and discrimination and allow the district to overcome these problems. The comprehensive plan called for 1. The active involvement of principals, teachers, students, substitute teachers, and bus drivers from every school in intensive anti-bias civil rights training. 2. The ongoing collection of school climate data and the use of these data to evaluate and monitor changes in school climate over time. The district elected to go even further, however, and worked to connect their efforts to reduce harassment and improve school climate with the overall goals of improving their schools and improving student learning.
Just to say a word or two about climate. Climate is so important, as you know. If we have a good, safe, friendly environment, you can teach and students can learn.
What is clear from the Sullivan County experience is that a good deal of the success of this initiative can be traced to active student involvement. Steve Wessler from the Center for the Prevention of Hate Violence provided extensive anti-bias and harassment prevention training to students, staff, and administrators. He developed and worked with unity teams, or groups of about 20 students from all middle and high schools, to provide them with skills and ideas about how they can challenge bias-based harassment among peers and work to reduce bullying, harassment, and school violence.
One of the important things that we've learned is that school climate is what happens when grown-ups aren't around. Students change when grown-ups are present. And if you really want to understand school climate, it's almost impossible to really see what's happening if you are the grown-up, because as soon as you are present, the situation changes. So what we found is that when grown-ups partner with students to collect data, to understand the climate of their school, a much more valid picture of school climate emerges.
The Sullivan County Comprehensive Plan called for the collection of school climate data over a 4-year period. This was the primary role of MainStreet Academix. It soon became clear that collecting school climate data could be used to accomplish at least 3 important things. 1. Collecting school climate data offered an excellent opportunity to engage students as researchers and leaders in the school improvement process. Teams of elementary, middle, and high school students were trained by MSA to conduct school-wide climate surveys with their peers and their teachers. 2. Examining and discussing the meaning of school climate data helped Sullivan County teachers and principals better understand their school. This process helped them make better decisions about appropriate actions that needed to be taken to effectively solve problems facing their students and their school. 3. School climate data was used by principals and the district in conjunction with academic achievement data to better understand the relationship between school climate and student learning.
And I think one of the things that I've heard people say that they didn't realize, one component, is the perception. If there's a perception, there's something that is going on, and then it might as well be fact, and deal with perceptions as though they are facts.
I think the biggest use of the data that we had was the difference between teacher perceptions and student perceptions. I know there were statements that used, for example, to give you an example, when teachers try to help, they really help diffuse the situation. Whereas teachers might say 80% yes, students say 40% yes. There were many questions where there were differences that the data showed that perceptions were different between teachers and administrators and the students themselves. So I think we've used that data to help make adjustments in the schools, and I think the data helped the teachers to actually see the difference in perceptions, and I think that was helpful.
The teachers were such a vital part to it because they actually met and made their action plans. And this is where they decided what they were going to do each year. And I think that made the big difference. And I've told everyone when they ask me, can you tell us one statement that you feel is the best thing that you all have accomplished? And that one statement for me is, now the kids feel safe and secure, and they feel that they can trust the adults in the school, because if they go to them and tell them what's happening to them, something's going to be done.
If you're being harassed, you don't really concentrate on your schoolwork. You're more worried about what's going to happen after class is over or after school's over on the bus. So if harassment's not a problem, then you can concentrate on your schoolwork.
In addition to collecting data and helping schools develop effective action plans, MainStreet Academix has also worked with principals and teachers to look beyond the prevention of bullying and harassment and to consider the powerful relationship between school climate and respectful teaching practices by teachers.
We were going over the stuff that was happening in Darfur and with the genocide, and so we decided to do something about it. So we talked to the principal, and he let us raise money for the people in Darfur that are having to go to the refugee camp.
Some students from the Colonial Heights Middle School, they come over every week. We have a gigantic food ministry for a church our size. We serve 200 families a week, and box up food, put it in the trunks of the cars. And the youngsters from over at the middle school just enjoy coming over here. Part of that is because they get out of school to do it. Sure. Part of it is because they just love doing the good work. There are weeks when we could not get it done if it weren't for the youngsters from the middle school. You wouldn't believe the difference when the kids first start coming over here in September. And they come over a lot of times as strangers. They don't, but you wouldn't believe when we see them walking back across the street to the school how many of them have their arms around each other or knocking each other, or you can tell they have become friends through the service. And yeah, it's been a great blessing from that standpoint as well.
The district voted to voluntarily continue the work that they'd begun on school climate. They decided that training over 150 leaders in the system, principals and teachers, to carry on the action research that had been started was the best way to ensure the sustainability of this initiative. There'll be school-wide leadership teams in every school. There'll be a district-wide leadership team, and student teams that are working with Steve Wessler will also begin to work more closely with teachers to improve school climate. We're really looking forward to the district taking the initiative forward, and we're sure that by building this capacity, the district will continue to show improvement.
It has been 4 years since the adoption of the comprehensive plan and the initiation of school climate improvement efforts in Sullivan County schools. Sullivan County school leaders are proud of the important work they've done and all that they have accomplished, despite the fact that the Justice Department has concluded that Sullivan County schools are now in compliance with the consent decree resulting from Madison v. Sullivan County Board of Education. Sullivan County school leaders remain committed to continuing their efforts to improve school climate as a pathway to promoting academic excellence. What began as a crisis for this district has become an opportunity to look deeply into the culture of schools using student and teacher and parent data. Sullivan County schools set powerful goals for improvement, and they're reaching these goals as their school climate numbers continue to steadily climb. Students are joining unity teams, serving as research partners, and are being listened to by adults. Adults realize that learning what students know about school climate can serve as an early warning system for adult leaders. What is also exciting is that other schools in Tennessee and across the U.S. are learning about Sullivan County and are beginning to reach out to them for assistance. The lessons that this district has learned may become a powerful asset to other schools who are wrestling with the same problems. What Sullivan County has proved is that positive change is possible. Through collaborative leadership and action, courage and persistence, even the most deeply rooted problems can be overcome. Sullivan County is making steady progress towards building respectful schools.